Alrighty, alrighty. How we doing, boys and girls? Oh, it looks very dark in here, doesn't it? Should I let the doggos and me have some sunlight, maybe? Please hold. It's not exactly sunlight, but what are you going to do? Some illumination is better than none. How we doing, boys and girls? I'm going to take it easy today. I haven't actually caught the Diablo 4 bug. I thought I'd probably start playing Diablo 4 and I was worried it might sweep me away and I might get engrossed in it. But the reality is, not so much. Not so much. For no specific reason. No real reason. Other than, it didn't feel any different. Didn't feel any different to when we played Diablo 4 a year ago. I'll give it a little bit more of a chance maybe over the weekend. But for now, we have Timewalking available to us. And I like the Wrath of the Lich King dungeons. Or at least I like most of the Wrath of the Lich King dungeons. And so, considering I've got mountains, oodles and oodles of rested experience on a bunch of characters that are like weirdly just kind of half leveled, predominantly from crafting, I thought today would be a good chance to get some random time walking dungeons done, collect some time walking badges, and chip away at things basically. And we can weave in some treasure finding, some profession stuff as and where it's necessary as well. 2 birds, 1 stone. That's the plan. Let's start with making sure we've picked up our quests. This dude is my arguably main enchanter. It's the enchanter that we didn't zug power level this enchanter at the beginning of the expansion, but we made sure it's got, you know, blue tools and the likes, leveled it up nice and fast. Probably the one that's got well, actually, saying that, enchanting is one of those professions where you can catch up. So all of my enchanters have got pretty much exactly the same amount of knowledge points. The only advantage this one's got is it's got the tools. Maybe a few more knowledge points, but maybe not by many. Right, let's figure out some treasures while we wait for this queue to pop. I'm hoping that time walking queues are pretty fast. I've not tested time walking yet to see if it's actually any good for leveling. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to do actually before we get too deep into this. There was a weak aura I wanted to switch on. Yeah, turn you on. Get our leveling weak aura up and running. So we can see what's what. Also now means when we log on to characters below level 80, it will scream at us to fix it, so I don't mind that. Cheerleader, how we doing? Welcome in. Good morning, good morning. Ooh, there's our first treasure. Hopefully, doing this on a Friday morning, we should find loads of treasures super fast, because not everybody's trying to claim them all. And like I said, if we weave in, this is just a convenient way to kill some time whilst we wait for a dungeon queue anyway. So 2 birds, 1 stone. More importantly, pre-coffee. Pre-coffee brain, we need something easy to do first thing. I'm not sure what it's what specifically has caused this, but I've been feeling really tired the last few days. I'm not quite sure why. I've had very little or very low amount of energy. I think it's probably starting to get that like post-summer blues or whatever you call it, where I'd kind of got used to getting a good supply of vitamin D. Maybe it's that I've sat inside and played video games way too much, but who knows. I've been pretty tired the last few days. Now, I don't reckon time walking is going to be super duper mega fast, but I do already have the 25% XP gain because I've got 5 level 80s already. So I kind of think that leveling via time walking might not be too bad. I could at least make sure I churn through my rested experience because that's when it's going to be at its most optimal. Oh, this tank, I worry this tank's a bit squishy. He was taking a lot of damage there. Morning, Mr. M. Did a time walking dungeon last night, got 2 levels from the end boss. Oh, okay, well, maybe it is pretty good then. Maybe it is pretty good. Welcome in, by the way. Let's see. Admittedly, I am level 75 already, so the last 10 levels are always very slow. With the explosion of popularity of concentration build profession tunes, there is part of me that wonders if I should level a bunch of my level 60s up to 70 as well, just so that we've got maximum opportunities. Starting that new streak. There we go. 5 stream streak. Got to start somewhere. I found something on Twitch yesterday that scared me. And it was after another streamer mentioned it. I realised yesterday I try to go by the theory of keep ads to an absolute bare minimum to piss off as fewer people as possible. I also obviously multi-stream on YouTube, so if you want a borderline ad-free experience, you can kind of get that via watching on YouTube anyway. The ads are far less frequent on YouTube, and I don't have any control over them. YouTube just plays ads when YouTube plays ads. Twitch though, I thought my ads were quite, you know, I play 3 minutes of ads an hour, which is the absolute bare minimum to make sure that pre-rolls don't exist. You can technically play less ads. You can play as little as 1.5 minutes of ads an hour. But then everybody that joins the stream is going to get a pre-roll ad, and pre-roll ads are just cancer for streamers. Absolutely nukes your viewership. So 3 minutes is pretty much the default. Take a guess what Twitch is. Now, if you know the answer, don't spoil it. I would rather people have a guess on this one. Take a guess at what Twitch recommends streamers actually show. And then take a guess on what the maximum is you can display. They are both outrageous numbers, by the way. The latter shocked me. Like, the maximum amount of ads you can set your Twitch stream to play is a disgustingly high number, by the way. 8 minutes, that's a really good guess. 8 minutes is 1 minute away from what Twitch recommends. Twitch recommends you display 7 minutes of ads per hour, which I think is wild. That's their recommended. So anybody that's new to the platform, anybody that starts their stream up, it's going to be set at 7 minutes by default on the recommended. Like, what is this? Like, flipping broadcast cable TV level ad plays? It's outrageous. The maximum is 22.5 minutes. Literally 1/3 of your stream. Like, that's just bonkers. It's why I switched to YouTube. Well, I like to give people the option, obviously. Obviously, I have it set up so that Team YouTube doesn't have music either, so you can play your own in the background as well if you wish. But yeah, to find out that you can actually, brand new streaming channels are basically being told by Twitch that 7 minutes is the default is a bit wild to me. Shopping channel levels, exactly. It's outrageous. Like, literally the entire thing by that point is just an ad. Bonkers. Okay, well, this dungeon's not taken very long. My little weak aura thing, assuming that it actually works, is stating that this session has been less than 7 minutes, or 7 minutes in total. So the dungeon's probably only taken 6 minutes to complete.
And paint my face with your blood!
Once we kill this dude and once we get the big boost of experience at the end of the dungeon, we'll see roughly how long it will take to actually level.
Good.
We'll ding 76 with this boss kill, but the question is how far into 76 will we get?
Your pathetic failure will serve as a warning to all. You are
Remember your battle banner standard thingy? I don't know what that is.
out the master's will.
I return.
I'm meant to stand behind the pillars for this. I guess it doesn't matter. Flipping hell.
I can do.
Okay, we got chunk into 76. We can live with that, I suppose. It's the banner you place down at the end of the dungeon to get more XP. I 100% have no idea what that is. Dark Moon 2. Oh yeah, Dark Moon's worth 10%, isn't it? It means I've got to go there, though. That's the problem for me. It means I've actually got to go there. Are you anything? Oh, you're just a DPS. Uh, 87% rested. This is probably enough rested experience in theory to get us all the way to 80 as well, isn't it? I'd imagine. Is the banner thing a toy or something? I don't know. Oh, I missed a war crate. Oh well, we're fine. It's an item you buy from the guild vendor. Okay.
How you doing, man?
Do these offer anything particularly? 56 experience. No, I'm not even going to bother with those then. Oops. Oops. Those vipers are chompy. Come on, boss time. Let's kill the boss. Let's kill the boss.
Minions of Thusday gonna read my flesh.
Down he goes. At least this will actually also, hopefully, possibly, maybe, give us a little bit of a gear whilst we level as well. I tend to get a lot of my characters like Zerg boosted, and then they ding level 80 or they ding max level and they have absolutely nothing. Are we going this way? This doesn't feel like the right way of doing things. I don't remember this to be the right way of doing things. Because we haven't got the platform swizzled yet, boys. Or, oh, I don't know. Why would we bother doing that? That hasn't made any sense, fellas. We still have to kill this dude. What? That hasn't saved any time, has it? Skips 3 packs of mobs. Yeah, but when people die and it all goes horribly wrong, I don't think it's really skipping anything, is it? This is what I tend to find the problem is with, like, quote-unquote skips in pug groups. They don't always go to plan. And often they end up taking you more time than it would have done to have just killed it normally. It's not standing the goo. Oh, did you split at like 1% or something? Oops, didn't need to pull you, whatever. Oh, a bow. That's got to be an upgrade. We did that weird and wacky skip, but we're not doing this one? Or maybe we are doing this one. This is what I don't understand. Murabi. It's a cool name for a boss. So it's a little under 2 weeks until we get the next patch, the anniversary patch, 10.0.5. I'm probably going to do basically 0 patron orders until then. Constantly taking materials out my bags, fulfilling patron orders is really grinding on me. Because there's part of me, even don't look at my bags, but there's part of me that is quite a stickler for organisation on this sort of stuff. I could just put a stack of every material on every character and it's just GG well played, but the war bank I think is there for a reason. So 10.0.5 is going to turn up. We're going to get to do patron orders from the war bank, but what we need to figure out is what position do we want to be in by the time that we get to the next patch. I've noticed, I saw Mr. GM tweet out yesterday saying that the anniversary currency, because of course there's a currency, the anniversary currency seems to be quite scarce. And even Mr. GM is stating that it might take players quite a while to get the currency, to get the things they want from the anniversary event. Clearly, Blizzard are going to try and stretch this out for an entire patch. So I feel it's probably quite smart to get anything 11.0 out the way before the anniversary event starts. Secondly, it is going to clash with Factorio, and so I'm going to be splitting my time between the two by default. So little 10. I've done it again. Little 11.0 things. 11 just doesn't roll off the tongue very well, by the way. I still haven't got used to the fact that it's patch 11 point something. It just feels icky. They should have just reset it back to 1. Yeah, I'm thinking just little things like the renown and running around making sure we've killed all of the rares and getting all of the 11.0 achievements and stuff out of the way. Might be a good use of our time in the next week or so. Try and sign off on that stuff a little bit so that when they start pumping new content our way, that we don't have to look back too much.
I'm gonna spill your guts, man. Gut them! Impale them!
Stand in the heel, I suppose. Aren't we meant to stand in front of our Evoker friends anyway? I don't even know. Doesn't matter, he's dead.
Even the mighty.
Kind of annoyed on how few of the simple achievements are not in Zygor yet. The dragon glyphs for all the critters, that sort of stuff is still not done. Is it not? I've not called upon Zygor to help me out in that regard too much yet. This is kind of the time where you'd want to be doing that sort of stuff as well. I don't know the exact ins and outs, and you can't draw too much from this, but the community survey, the community guy for Zygor, my representative, I suppose, the guy I would talk to when I had questions, has recently left Zygor. So I don't know what's going on internally. Whether it's just he's leaving to go on and do bigger and better things, or, you know, you never really know. Did I not queue for the dungeon? Is there not a quest to do 5 time-walking dungeons? Or is that a max level 80 thing? I assume that's a max level 80 thing then. Let me check the journal, actually. Is there something in here that's... Oh, okay. Sure. Was that the beginning? Random dungeons. No, I've not done the raid. I've not done the time-walking raid. I rarely do much time-walking stuff, if I'm honest. The only reason I'm using it now is it's a convenient thing to squeeze in between doing some gathering of treasures. And I've got a bunch of rested experience and a bunch of levels I still need on a bunch of these toons anyway. My goal is to get most of my main crafters to 80, not ASAP, but like in a reasonable time. I've advocated. Wow, did we get a tinderbox then? We did. Oh, poor tinderboxes. You were worth money one day. Now you're worth 500 gold. Shame. I still think these have got a chance to be 1,000 plus though. I think it might just take a little time for the the initial Zerg supply of them to filter through. I still think the delve materials are rare enough that the tinderboxes will still have some reasonable value to them. Struggling for 2 weeks to get profit from alloys. I've got all of my points and all my blue tools. Alloys since day one of the expansion has been super mega competitive. I would also point out that it's probably the best thing for you to spend concentration on as a blacksmith as well. So when you use your concentration, you can often get a whole bunch of alloys significantly cheaper. And with the volatility of the tinderbox prices, it's yeah, alloys have always been tough. They're tough. I would also point out, and I'm wondering, I don't want to put doom and gloom into the landscape too much, but we are pretty much at the point now where guaranteed quality 3 crafts are not only skinny margins, but unlikely to be profitable. Unless you are doing something very special. Because there is, and even if it's limited, there is a way to make quality 3 stuff significantly cheaper than the mass-produced price. So you kind of can't ignore that that's a thing, which is why a lot of stuff, especially the highly competitive stuff, is that the price it costs you to guarantee something at quality 3 is actually like the highest possible price it could be. It's not technically the highest profitable, you know, because until you've got all your multi-crafting resourcefulness and all of that in order, it could technically still be higher if you didn't have all of that in place. But the ceiling price on materials is now pretty much whatever it costs somebody to make it at guaranteed quality. You are always, forever and a day, going to be undercut by concentration crafted items, and there's no ignoring that fact. So yeah, the guaranteed price is kind of like the top price. During off points in the week, the price is likely to dip below that value, just because there'll be people crafting with concentration and then instantly throwing it up on the auction house. Yet there is nowhere near the same demand for items on a Thursday afternoon as there is on a reset day, for example. So it might now only really be very select times during the week that guaranteeing top quality crafts is actually profitable. The tank has run off without... Okay. Oh yeah, shit, we got arachnophobia mode on. That means this dude's just a fuck off crab. He's huge. I forgot about the fact that he's technically a big spider, isn't he? Morning, Friday's here. Floor mop and pizza day. I'm probably gonna make pizza for dinner tonight, I think. I often like Friday for me is takeout Friday. But we've technically had takeout once already this week, so I'm gonna maybe put a limit on takeout a second time in a week. I might actually just make pizza for dinner today. I've got, I mean, all the ingredients. Well, it doesn't really take any ingredients, does it? It's pizza. But I enjoy making a good pizza. Probably won't be a super fancy pizza, just, you know, basic oven pizza. I miss pizza. It's dead easy to make. If you miss it, just make it. Just flour, water, and some tomato sauce and a, you know, slice of salami. Just made the fishing line for myself. Got a multi-craft proc. Okay. Well, give it to an alt, I suppose. If you want to do more fishing. Fatty's on a diet. Pizza doesn't have to be outrageously fatty. It's only outrageously fatty if you put a mountain of cheese on it and a mountain of meat on it. You could argue that pizza in its simplest form is quite a healthy thing to eat, honestly, because there's just by the fact that there's nothing really actually bad in it. Basic tomato pizza. You can put some, I wouldn't say healthy, but you, yeah, if you have a meat feast or you have a double pepperoni with extra cheese, then yeah, it's probably not very healthy. But there are still ways to have good pizza without it being too bad for you. It's only fatty if you do it right. That's one way to look at it, I suppose. Got to get the bag as well. Kind of helps with ever-burning ignition. Well, yeah, as far as alloys are concerned specifically, you've got to have a min-max blacksmith. You've got to be BIS. That means you've got to have your profession tools. You've got to have every advantage you can possibly have to reduce your crafting cost when guaranteeing them. But you still need to bear in mind that if you can do it, other people have done it as well. And so the nature of crafting is that will set the standard pricing. But anytime somebody crafts some ingots with concentration, then they have a vastly cheaper price than even that still. So the guaranteed price is kind of the ceiling, really, rather than the floor.
I would be free of him.
Where are all these fellas coming from? Why am I the only one here to kill them? Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Well, the dungeons end up being quite fast. And the experience seems to be pretty reasonable as well. I'm looking for one more jewel crafting treasure. Though the reality is we don't need to look for it too hard because it is a concentration build character. Or, sorry, it's a concentration focused profession. It's one of those, since I'm here, I'll do it situations. Yeah, the crafters who are looking to mass produce things are just going to have to be a lot more savvy about how and when they do it. It's even more an extreme of a scenario than it's been in past expansions because of concentration. You used to basically have the understand. You could have the understanding previously that if you had all of your knowledge points, if you had your tools, if you ticked all of the boxes, you would basically have the same crafting cost as everybody else. But you would also then be able to be quite content in the fact that everybody else would like to sell them for more than that price as well. But unfortunately, concentration does throw that spanner in the works this time round. Concentration is going to unfortunately mean that there are many, many people out there that can still produce those items much cheaper, even still after you've quote-unquote min-maxed, which is a problem. It's a problem that's deliberately been put there, though. It's been put there to make it so that the professions are arguably fairer. Everybody can have a piece of the pie, and there is, for the first time, basically ever, really, that every single crafted item in the game has a limit to how many of them that can be produced at a cheap price. One thing I've said for years about the crafting system that I wanted them to implement, and this is the first time they kind of really have, is that I wanted them to put some restriction on how many times you could craft something. Otherwise, the very second somebody gets a recipe, they can just theoretically mass produce it and supply the entire region. One crafter should not be able to supply the entire region with their stuff. But that's how it's always been, because there's never any restrictions on how many times you can press the craft button, assuming you have materials. Concentration has come along, though, and said, sure, there's a very strict limit on how many of these things you can craft. And if the market price allows, the price of that said item will dip below what people can guarantee it for. And the market value will be dictated pretty much by the concentration supply, if the supply of concentration crafted items is high enough. But my last tip on this really is that don't trust add-ons. Make sure, I mean, this has been my rule since the beginning of the expansion, and well, since way before that, to be fair, but it hasn't really changed. Don't trust add-ons. Add-ons just do some very simple maths to determine whether it claims something's profitable or not. If there is one if there's one sanctified alloy at 1,000 gold, and you craft them at 1,200 gold, just because there's one at 1,000 gold doesn't mean that it's not profitable to craft and sell them. You just can't take, you can't take that the cheapest price is the only price they'll sell for anymore. In essence, crafters have to level up again. You know, the game's moved on. The game's more advanced now than it ever was. Didn't know hunters could heal. We basically can't. The best way to heal, though, is not to take damage.
You know what they say about curiosity. I'll give you.
Welcome in the Jack. Good morning.
Now to finish the job. Down the
Oh, because you went DPSing. Oh, I see. Oh, I'm with you now. I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Stinks, by the way. 23 nullstones in an hour farming. Sheesh. Do you have Bismuth, Iron Claw, and Akirite all maxed out? You must do to get 23 nullstones in an hour. This is also why nullstones are going down in price. Because 23 nullstones in an hour right now sounds really impressive. And I'm not taking anything away from you. That is still very impressive. But every week the impressive number is going up and the average is also going up with it as well. Whilst at the same time the demand is decreasing. Nullstones will be a reasonable price soon. Farmers have had it good so far though. Delver's journey done. Wow, nice one. That must be a few ults then. Plenty of bountifuls. I need to go and check the. I need to go check the which story options are up today. Oh, jewel box hacks. Well, that also works. I don't even think if I'd been jewel boxing it, I would have got the journey finished at this point. I don't even think I'm halfway through. Is it possible to go bigger than that? Is it possible to do, like, could you 5-box delves? Is that a thing? Or is the scaling so whack on it that one character's never going to be able to pull the weight of 5? The Delve season pass, yeah, it does feel a bit like it, doesn't it? 3 would probably feel like an 11. 2 just feels like a 9. Oh, I see. So it does ramp up the more that's in there. But should you be able to do the higher tier ones, you could probably bring a couple of buddies with you. Two in a minute? The hell's going on here? Delves are my favourite thing this expansion, to be honest. I'm going to be honest, I'm still in two minds about them. I'm very aware that I'm in the honeymoon phase of Delves still. Sorry, Jack, I'm doing your job for you. I didn't mean to. Apologies. Apologies. I kind of, I'm still in two minds about Delves. But because I know I'm in the honeymoon phase. I know that I'm enjoying Delves right now, but that's because I've got a journey to go on with Delves. Which is, I'm doing my 8 per week for my vault, because it's still giving me a reasonable piece of gear. But secondly, I'm proactively doing them each day, because I want to complete like the overall meta quest for Delves and that. I want to see all of the different stories in each of the different Delves. Because at least the first time, they're all interesting. What I'm less convinced about is how repeatable it's going to be once I've done every one of the delves at least once. And whether... and what they're going to do with delves going forward. Because Mythic Plus was in essence introduced so that Blizzard didn't have to keep churning out new dungeons. And that, you know, it gave away, Mythic Plus gave away for the same dungeon to be reused, basically. It is the definition of reused content. You go do the same thing again, but you do it on a harder difficulty. I worry that when we get into the grind with delves, that might kick that effect might kick in even harder. Am I going to get time to go grab my coffee before this boots me out? Made my coffee like an hour ago and completely forgot about it. The rewards are a bit meh for the delves in the late game. Doing any delve higher than an 8 doesn't contribute to anything more. In terms of gear, yeah. I can't. In a way, I kind of like that though. We've had a few discussions over the last few days about delves and their gear rewards and whether they're high or low or. My general TLDR approach to this is I think they've kind of hit the nail on the head perfectly. They give you quote-unquote competitive gear, but they give it to you incredibly slowly. One piece of 616 gear a week, if you do 8 tier 8 delves, you know, one piece of 616 a week means that you're not going to be fully item level 616 very fast. And you're going to probably get to the point where that last slot or two is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, right? So, yes, the overall gearing that can be achieved from delves is on par with that of reasonably high Mythic Plus or Heroic raiding. The reality is you ain't getting there very fast, so there is still rhyme and reason for people who are chasing gear and chasing higher tier content to still go out and do their Mythic Pluses if they want to still go out and do the raid. That way, you can actually quite quickly supersede the gear that delves offer. But I don't think that the carrot on the stick for people to go do delves should be super high gear, because I'm going to throw something out there that might feel a bit grim to some people, but I don't think predominantly solo players, such as myself, we don't need super high gear. There's absolutely no requirement for us to be running around in Mythic gear.
The gate has been breached. Quick, divert forces.
We're not pushing any limits. We're not trying to push any limits. We're simply just trying to, you know... Do you need Mythic... Do you need Heroic and Mythic gear to go complete world quests a touch faster? Not really. What's the point in doing a Mythic plus 20? It's the same deal, though. Well, it's at that point where pushing higher and higher and higher is the game mode. But I don't think delves... I think they've struck quite a nice balance with delves where they're trying to avoid having the reason to do delves be to gear. We've already got many avenues in the game if you are solely focused on getting gear. And this is why I think they've got the balance quite nice. Sweaty Mythic Plus gameplay is clearly the most advanced way to gear up fast, because you can just run Mythic Plus all fucking day. And if you're in a group of people that is competent at doing it, you'll get pretty geared pretty fast. Yeah, you're going to get capped on runes and all of that sort of business, but the reality is you're still getting pretty decent gear pretty quickly. I would rather delves be positioned as something that's like reasonably casual, pick up and play. It takes 20 minutes, you're not requiring anybody else. You can dive in, you can do a delve or two. It is working towards something, but it's not working towards something like highly ridiculous. I think they've just got the balance right. I do wish they'd put more cosmetic-y fun stuff in the delves. This is what I think. Once we've seen all of the different stories and you start getting the same stories over and over again, then the delves are going to get pretty mundane pretty quickly. There's a couple of cosmetics in there, but they seem to be very rare and very few and far between. $8 per week. Don't you get bored of them? I can barely make myself do 4 a week. But this is the thing. This is why, if the only reason you're doing delves... I love to wombo combo things. You hear me talk about doing this all the time, right? Make sure you're always doing something for a couple of reasons. As soon as you only end up doing something for one reason, you very quickly become bored of it because you're just blind to everything else that content has to offer you. I'm still in the luxurious position with delves where I'm happy to go and do multiple delves every day because I'm going through, I'm checking them, I'm seeing which ones offer new stories to me. But I've only got 3 stories that I haven't seen in the delves at this point. And I'm quite sure once I've seen them all, I am, not going to have a great amount of enthusiasm to go on a world tour of delves every day. As soon as you get to the point where you're only doing them for the Great Vault loot, then as soon as you supersede, 603 gear overall, I also think there's a very heavy diminishing returns on your enjoyment of delves. And this is because people are clearly chasing the reward more so than just fundamentally enjoying the content. 30 or so different stories, 9 different instances, more to come. I think they've invested in a lot and I hope it continues. Quite enjoying them, to be honest. They could have skimped a lot more. Yeah, I think genuinely, they've clearly put more effort into them than what we've seen with things like Island Expeditions or Torghast or something like that. The Island Expeditions, Torghast, these sorts of mini events, I guess, have clearly been, right, we're going to do this for this expansion, but then we're going to put it down. Delves definitely feel like something that's more likely to stick around for a bit longer. They seem to have already sort of got the formula worked out for delves, and I really hope when we get new zones, new patches, that a bunch of not only new delves come round, but maybe even additional stories in the delves that we currently have, so that they don't have to permanently be making, like, actually new instances all the time. But I don't mind them. Like I said, I think they've struck the balance really nicely. They give you reasonable enough rewards to keep you interested in doing them. If you don't really enjoy the nature of the delves, though, you don't have to worry too much because the rewards are also not great, right? That's where they sit nicely in the middle. If you vibe with delves naturally, then it's nice that there is a little reward. But if you don't vibe with delves, you don't really feel that you are quote-unquote forced to do them because they offer the best gear. You can continue to just completely pretend they don't exist if you don't want to do them. It's kind of refreshing in a way to have a piece of content in the game like that, though, where you can do it and be rewarded adequately for doing it if you wish to do it and you enjoy doing it. But simultaneously, you don't feel as if it's a mandatory thing for you to do because of your overarching goal of being super good. And also, that comes with the nice flexibility that it's dip in and out as well. Let's say you want to run a bunch of delves when a season's brand new. Then you can run a bunch of delves when the season's brand new. But you're also not going to particularly feel too put out if you unsubscribe or even put the game down for like a few days or a week or something. I really do think they've struck quite a nice balance with them in general. Today, Mycomancer is Mushroom Morsel. Underkeep is Evolved Research. Oh, you've already figured out the exact ones I need and have figured out whether they work or not. Jesus. I had to hire you as my assistant. That's top tier gameplay, that is. That's top tier. When I log on to the Hunter, once we get this dude to level 80, we'll have a little look at that. Scratch that, that was yesterday's. Oh, okay. Right, you're fired. No severance pay, you lasted 3 seconds. That reminds me of one of my favourite quotes from a comedy show ever. In Blackadder, what was it? Blackadder, the Elizabethan one. Where he's speaking to Baldric, and Baldric has done something well. And he's like, "Good job, Baldric. Have a holiday. Did you enjoy it?" 4-second holiday. It's like that. It's like the, "Wow, you've done a fantastic job. Take the rest of the week off." But boss, it's 4 PM on a Friday. I know. I'm easily amused. Still putting it on my CV. Do it. I'll give you a glowing reference. I hate CVs. Flipping, they are the most ridiculous thing. Some clever person needs to figure out a better way to analyze people's capabilities of working for a job than a flipping piece of paper with. Nobody gives a flying fuck if you're above the age of 30. Nobody cares what your GCSEs are. Nobody cares what you got in school if you're above the age of 30. CVs are useful if you're 22 and you have no experience because it showcases your education. As soon as you're above the age of 27, I think past the age of 27, there's absolutely zero reason to have or use a CV. We just need to figure out a better way to do it. Nobody gives a flying fuck what you studied in school. I care only about what it is, what expertise do you have, what value can you provide? More importantly, can you provide me more value? Can you generate me more money than you want me to pay you? If that's the case, you can come. The door's open. There has to be a better way than CVs. Has to be. And that's now why we have 5 rounds of interviews. That's true. I'm so glad. I mean, I can have this opinion because I can I can safely say I've only ever had 2 interviews in my life, and one of them was a Mickey Mouse interview. This is because when I've moved from job to job, it's predominantly because somebody has come and found me rather than I go and find them. For example, I worked at Sony for a while, and it was actually, I then moved from Sony to, let's just call it Dixon's, because it's the corporate company. And the only reason I did that was because somebody I knew had moved over to Dixon's, and they were like, "You're good at selling shit. Come and work for me." So a couple of occasions that happened. So I can safely say I've only ever really had like 2 proper interviews. So I do feel for people that have to go through this like video interview and then in-person interview and then group interview. All of this bullshit, all of this jumping through hoops. It's so gross. But there's realistically not much better way to do it. Found that very common in sales. Oh yeah, well this was the advantage, you know. My past history is in sales and marketing. And I had a decade of very successful sales. Which is why I didn't have to apply for jobs. Job applied for my time. Because when you can sell stuff, you can sell anything. But it's not so easy to do in other industries, I understand. When your numbers speak for themselves, it's, you know, that's the best example. Never had an interview in the trades, always just told to show up, bring your tools. If you can't do the job, you're quickly... Well, yeah, this is it. Yeah, in trade, that's going to be the way. Yeah. If you turn up and start asking where the left-handed screwdriver is, you are going to get weeded out pretty fast. Yeah, that's true. That's where your expertise will speak for itself, I suppose. Best thing a person can do is incorporate themselves. Well, you know, as a budding content creator, that is the way to do it. Oh, I didn't even queue for dungeon. What a fucking idiot. In corporate roles, getting rid of people isn't that easy. This is... I've had this discussion with my wife quite a few times because my view on this... I have a very American style view on employment, which frustrates my wife greatly because, of course, we live in Finland. But I've experienced this from both sides, right? Yes, you're very right that in certain lines of work nowadays, employers are very well protected. And you have literally got to kill somebody in some industries before you're going to get booted out of that job. Whereas I tend to have a lot more of an American approach to this, where it's kind of like, if you fuck up and if you can't do the job, see you later. Like, if you're if you are being paid a wage or being paid a salary, you're here to do a job and you either can't or won't do the job, then leave. And I will facilitate your leaving if needs be. Because at the end of the day, a business is about making money. And if you're not making the business money, or you're not providing value to the business, at least in somewhat shape or form, you don't technically have a job at that point.
Anybody who trespass on
But
these
like I said, I know my views on this are a little bit more harsh, and probably why I should never be in charge of anything. Should never be in charge of anything. That's why I work for myself, because I got to do something really fucked up to fire myself, right? Although it does happen. The interesting thing you do see is about CEOs that started the company, started their own company, often do outgrow their own company and end up not necessarily firing themselves, but stepping down from senior positions because they come to realize that just because they had a good idea and you know, put in the hustle to start a business, maybe they're not the best person to run the business. Oh my god, this dude's on it. He's off. Bull Gates, what a name. Started my professional life in the American military. I won't stand for dumb fuckery. Well, yeah, see, there we go. Is the end of dungeon experience worth doing time walking over normal dungeons? Mobs are giving like 100 XP. I don't even know. I'm collecting time walking badges at the same time though, so in a weird way, it's a win all the same. Where the hell are we going this time? How does this work? What? That's a waterfall, my friends. What the fuck? What have I missed here? Since when can you climb up a water... What? Hello? What is this? What is this wizardry I've never seen before in my life? What are these MDI strats? Ha! Okay. I legitimately never knew that was there. And I've played this game since this was since before this was current content. Damn. Well, well, well.
We fought back the scourge.
I've had to fire 2 people in 16 years, but were instant fires, walked off site by security, and that's in an IT tech. Well, yeah, any form of like severe gross misconduct, it's super easy to get people get rid of people. The problematic people to get rid of are the ones that don't technically do anything wrong, but are just dead weight for the company. You're not doing anything wrong, but you're not really helping either. You're just collecting a paycheck at that point. Like I said, my views on this are a little bit strict, a little bit probably not something I should be talking about overly in detail in public, really. But I tend to lean a lot more on this is a business. This is something that's designed to make money. I care about your feelings as long as your feelings are working towards making money for the company. That's why you're here. That's what your job is. It's different if are you an employee for said company? This kind of bullshit about we're a family. No, that's just a distraction. I think more people, it's difficult to do, but more people would make an awful lot more money if they ignored all of this we're a family rubbish. No. Negotiate your contract so that you get a percentage of the revenue that you bring in. If you can do that, you'll make 4 times your annual salary very quickly. Because all of this, we're a family and this is a nice place to work, is all to distract from the fact that you're making a company $1 million a year and they're paying you 100,000 of it. That nice, happy, everything is good, we're a family is just an illusion. $100K, you dreamer, you. Well, whatever the level is, right? whatever the level is. The point still stands, is if more people refused, the reason people don't do it is because it's risky. People don't do it because they don't actually believe in themselves to do the job they're signed up for. Whether that be stacking shelves, flipping burgers, or running a country, people don't generally believe that they're capable of doing the job that they're able to do. Self-confidence is how you make money in this world. Not expertise, not experience, self-confidence. If you've got the self-confidence that you can do the job, you'll be successful. Took a zero commission salary sales job right out of school, shot myself in the foot hard. Yeah. People look at salaries as safety. They look at it as safety. Yet then when they realise that all they're doing is day-to-day, is they're making somebody else really goddamn rich, you start to realise that, ow, this hurts. This hurts. There's a better way to do this. Share options were the best thing I asked for when joining a new job. Yeah, you as quickly as possible want to get a percentage. Maybe not necessarily a percentage of revenue, because that's a bit tricky. But you at least want your salary based on a percentage of profit. If a company's making money, you should be making money. Whatever level of the business you're at. But most people, they'll take their $15, their $20, their $30 an hour. They'll take their 50k a year annual salary, and then they'll just be happy. They're happy because, you know, it's safe. It's safe. Deliver the frigid time-walking prison to some dude in Dalaran. Okay, I haven't done that. What do we need to do on this dude still, though? Do I have any books on me? I think I've got a few books to hand. Enchanting book. One of you. We need to disenchant a bunch of stuff. We need to do the weekly turn-in. Do I have a jewel crafting book? We have a jewel crafting book. Let's queue for another dungeon while we do this. I need some Dark Moon cards. I need some stuff to disenchant. In fact, I've probably got stuff to disenchant in my bags now, don't I? From leveling up. Dream shards? Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. It's like time walking stuff, isn't it? Are they all going to give me dream shards? Oh, they are. Okay. That can't be disenchanted. Ah, screw it. Let's just go get some Dark Moon cards. It's easier. Safe isn't always bad. You require safe for mortgages, etc. Without safe, you're not getting a mortgage. Well, that is also true. This is why you don't have to go all in one way or the other. You can take a base salary, but a base salary with a stock option on the side it sets you up probably much better. Safety nets are important. I get it. Right, where are my Dark Moon cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
My directive
I'm going to need like 5 of these or something, aren't I? One DPS has fell asleep. we go. There's enchanting. Where's everybody gone? It's not that I can't do my job solo, it's that I can't do all of the adjacent jobs that go with it to make me doing my thing a success. But yeah, yeah, you obviously need teams of people all working together. That's always going to be a case. Probably shouldn't pull, should I? Let's let the tank do the pulling. Oh, that hunter clearly doesn't care. I would like to point out it was not me using that. But I guess this guy can get away with it without DPS. Holy shit. Wow, it's a hunter party in here. I've just realised. Can't do that whilst fleeing. I am fleeing. Do you reckon this one's going to get us to 79? Probably. I think we're looking at this plus maybe 2 dungeons. We should ding 80, which is not too bad. Leveling's not too bad when you're only going from 70 to 80, because it's literally only 10 levels. 4 or 5 levels I've got for free by crafting, shuffling on these characters and whatever. It's actually surprising just how much experience you gain from doing the shuffle, by the way. It's clearly not an optimal way to level, but it was a nice perk on top. It's saved me, you know, it's cut my leveling time on these dudes in half. I don't really have a reason to have them at level 80 yet. I'm just assuming that something is going to turn up that will require them to be 80. So getting it done is worth just doing, you know. It's the same for all those concentration builds. I suspect that if we have anything even remotely close to like a Dracothis type situation, or a new recipe that is like the best recipe that everybody wants, your concentration alts are probably going to want to be able to craft that too. If it requires you to go to or engage in some level 80 content to get the recipe, you want to keep those alts leveled up if you can. But this is one of those things that it's never not... Leveling is one of those things that's never not going to pay off. It's not really a gamble. Because, let's be real, at some point you're going to want the characters to have a higher level than... You know, you want to get them to max level at some point. Even if it's to make your journey into the next expansion easier, you know? How many of you guys are sat on, like, characters at level 50 because you didn't level them to 60? And then you didn't level them to 70? And those characters that once upon a time you put a bunch of effort in are now just dead to you. I'm trying to avoid that this expansion. That's kind of what I'm trying to get away from. I'm trying to make sure that I keep my characters up to speed. Even if it takes a bit of time. All my 50s in Nax. Yeah, there we go. I suppose there's at least some use for them. Some use for them. Getting those lamented Crusader pieces. I keep seeing people, you know, making some big bucks off commissions on those recipes, by the way. Not the ones that go on the auction house, but like the materials that you have to make via work orders. 50k tips are not uncommon on those things. You're just not going to get them very frequently. But people are so pleased when somebody's able to craft it for them. it's not really it's kind of fallen out of the limelight. It was kind of very much a last expansion thing. But I do kind of think that running Nax on alts, doing the Gamba Gamba for your Lamented Crusader pieces, I'm not going to say it's going to be completely evergreen, but it's definitely going to be a system that will stick around for a while. It's obviously best multi-box though, that's the problem. The value in doing it without multi-boxing is pretty slim. The markets are kind of controlled by people who do multi-box it, but it's still a valid option. And it's a very valid option for those level 50s, for example. The fact that you don't need a high level character to do it is worth quite a lot. Sad though that I don't have time to run them. Well, this is the thing, it is quite time consuming to do it one character at a time. It is without question best multi-boxed. I know people that are not just like 5-boxing it, but they're like 16-boxing it. Like they're running like many characters through it still. And if you then spread the pieces out a little bit, spread the pieces out across the region and keep on top of posting them, it's still quite some effort, but it's one of those arguably more niche markets. It's one not to forget, at least. Tier 2 was iconic way back in the day. It's not really changed. I don't even know what this is. I was AFKing during the Nax release stuff. Sounds like something I should be doing. Yeah, you run the old version of Nax and you get... Oh my god, I can't even remember exactly how it works now. But you get some currency. Flipping hell, how does it work? You get some currency off the bosses in Nax, which there's... Let's see if I can remember the numbers now. I think there's 12 bosses in there. But you basically only do, I think it's 9 of them, because the last 3 have like literally 20 minutes of RP on them, so it's just not worth. But you basically get a material off each and every end boss, but it's a personal loot item, which is why it works significantly better when multi-boxing it, because every one of those characters will get one of those currency. You then can convert those currency, or you can trade those currency in for dented, I think they're called dented Crusader pieces. And when you use that dented Crusader piece, there is a chance for a like a base piece of tier 2 to drop. Roughly. But yes, if you are into multi-boxing, it's definitely something you should be doing. The other thing that I like about it is that there's quite a lengthy, but fun, may I add, quite lengthy attunement process to even be able to do it, which the further in history that becomes, the less people will have either done it or will be willing to go and do it. I made a full document on the attunement process, if people want it. Where is that, actually? Is it this one? Yeah, this is it.
Preserve.
My...
There's no
This is
truth in
my
it.
10.1.5 goal making guide. This has got the full attunement for
Taking. I
Nax
see
in
that
there as
now.
well.
Finish it.
And all, literally anything you could ever possibly need to know about that little section.
Never see daylight again. Preserve me.
Yeah, it was a couple of hours of like flying around doing stuff, completing a few dungeons here and there. The attunement process was quite lengthy, but it was story based and it was really fun. I genuinely think it's one of the best pieces of content that Blizzard have added into the game in a while. And the fact that it was a completely 100% side hustle. It was clearly a passion project of somebody. You know, one dev probably took this on and it was just a complete passion project, but it was done really well. What was it you had to do? Oh god, I actually put some detail into this, didn't I? Complete tier 3 unlock guide. Unlocking the lost glacial transmog stuff. They're big fancy buttons. How did I put those big fancy buttons in my... I need to do those in my Dragonflight guide. They're much better ways to display videos. The attunement process, you had to do the Memory of Scholomance, the Wards of the Dread Citadel, to unlock the Secrets of Naxxramas. And then, yeah, you had to get a toy to start with. Yeah, this was it. The very, very starting point was the problem for people. Because the Bag of Horrors was a low drop chance on Heroic Scholomance. Now, either you need the toy or you needed the assistance of somebody else that had the toy. You may or may not have already had this, but you had to get the toy, do a thing, collect a bunch of stuff, fly around, collect a bunch of different items that were hidden. They don't show up on your maps, but I'm sure there's like weak auras and stuff for this now. Huge amount of stuff you actually had to go and do before you eventually went through Scholomance, did a bunch of RP stuff, a bunch of lore, and then you unlocked the portal to get to Naxxramas. Then you had to go do a bunch of stuff in the raid. This was really fun, actually, by the way. I really hope they do something like this again. Putting Wilhelm out of business, you had to collect all of the pages, which would then unlock some of the crafting recipes. Yeah, this was really fun. This was really fun. And eventually, there was the tier 3 transmog. Once you've completed the unlock process and have access to Zakit's Skull Smash, the NPC, you'll be able to gamble your Death's bargaining chips for dented raider gear. There we go. To hopefully acquire the Lamented Crusader armor pieces. Early data looks to have Lamented at about a 1% drop chance. The loot pool is very large. Good chance for some other transmogs whilst doing this. And that goes into making... You can slowly... Yeah, it was just really fun. It was just a really fun little side hustle. God, I put a lot of effort into this, didn't I? Tier 3 crafting materials. So there's the Cursed Cloth. Repair a piece of Lamented Crusader's equipment with corrupted materials, partly restoring it to its former glory. 50 war-torn scraps, 20 feln cloths, 6 essences of undead, 2 dark runes, frozen rune. Goes into making a single piece of Cursed Cloth. But the only way you get these recipes, was by having the full tier 2 set yourself, which really, really, really heavily limited the amount of people that could craft these. And as time goes on, the amount of people that will have this on a character somewhere is basically going to drop to 0. But yeah, That was good fun. That was good fun. I really hope they add something like this again. That was really good fun. And, like I mentioned, still incredibly valuable to do to this day. And probably will continue to be valuable because, let's be real, tier 2 sets are very iconic. I should be queuing for a dungeon, shouldn't I? I love both the classic transmog things they added. Yeah, I really liked the fact that they revamped the old dungeons and added a bunch of the recipes and stuff back. I thought that was a really cool little addition. I don't think it made up for the fact that we didn't get a second wave of actual Dragonflight crafted stuff. I would have still given the choice rather have had, you know, a second wave of Dragonflight stuff.
May the Titans carve your path.
But, you know, you can't have everything apparently. Well, that was a lot of points. Well, we filled that one out. Considering this is my main... How many points do I want to put in designated disenchanting? On this character, I don't actually think I do want to put that many points in. What happened to crafting being an endgame pillar? Lol. Delves came in and were like, fuck off, this is my pillar. Delves came in and they had a word. It was all an illusion. We weren't ever really a pillar. It was just a way to sell boxes at the beginning of the expansion. Kill the Mender. The Menders are the annoying ones. Kill the Mender. We're going to pull the boss here. We're pulling the boss. The boss is pulling us. Ha! Fucking Barbie girls playing on this playlist. Oh dear. Oh dear. Sing it loud, boys and girls. Don't try and tell me you don't know the words either.
Is not strong.
Timewalking badgy rune is. I tell you what, there's probably people out there with tens of thousands of Timewalking badges. Aren't they? Haven't they done a thing with Timewalking badges now so that alts don't get as many of them or something? I really need to keep up with the news more in this game. Holy shit! I need to be scouring Wowhead on the daily again. I mostly rely on you guys telling me shit these days. I kind of feel a bit bad. I haven't even looked at the PTR for the new patch. Not even once. I don't even think I've got the PTR installed right now. In a way, that's a good thing, because it means that the main game is keeping me more than occupied. Which is kind of what you'd want, really. I tend to verge off into the test realms when the retail version gets a bit stale, but still brand new expansion hype. They've made it a bit less, but you can still get a ton though. Oh, okay. I've never really paid much attention to time walking, honestly. Outside of occasions where it's just like super broken OP for leveling or something. Towards the end of Dragonflight, I had a real strong temptation to like multi-box the fuck out of it just to get characters leveled, but then Remix happened, and I was like, well, I don't need to do that then. We don't need to mess around with time walking when Remix happened. I've still got 3 accounts that don't have game time on them right now that have a bunch of characters on them at level 70. From a concentration standpoint, I should be using those. The problem is there's just enough characters to make it worthwhile doing, but not enough characters to make it profitable to do. I think there's like 6 to 10 characters on each account at level 70. Which is probably enough.
You have destroyed my children?
It's probably enough to cover the game time on those accounts, but like I said...
Life from lifelessness. Death.
So I kind of wonder about delves, you know. Considering you can do delves in a 5-player group, and it's a 5-player group solo. With a very strong tank character that can clear the dungeons by themselves. It might be a good 5-box, multi-box leveling opportunity via delves at some point. Anniversary event, yeah, a couple of weeks time. 22nd, 23rd, something like that. That reset. Honestly, I couldn't care less about the anniversary event because it's mostly just cosmetic-y sort of stuff. Well, no, that's actually probably really not fair to say, is it? There's a bunch of stuff coming with it. But the one thing I really want is to be able to fill work orders from the Warbank. That's literally number 1 on my list. Low levels can do max rank 3 delves. How does that work? Yeah, that's a theory. How does that work then if you've got a level 80 character that's if you've got a level 80 geared character, can that level 80 geared character boost 4 low level characters through a tier 3 comfortably? That's an interesting thought. Using 1 max level 80 character to boost 470s, 280 via delves. That could be a thing, you know. That could be a thing. Because I reckon even my level 80, I reckon even my hunter can breeze through a tier 3, even with 4 leeches. And the more gear you have, the easier it's going to be. It's almost worth a test, you know.
You wish to confront the master.
I'd need to buy 3 more copies of The War Within, though. That's a problem, isn't it? Did my pet actually die? No. Yeah, that's really got my goblin brain ticking now. At least you won't need 3 more epic editions. Well, yeah, I've got 2 epic editions accidentally. I got 2 epic editions. One because I bought the first epic edition, pre-ordered it, assigned it to the wrong account, like a donut. Then I was so concerned that my main account wouldn't get beta access. I bought epic edition for that. Then actually, shortly after that, found out that I was eligible for a free copy because of being a WoW partner. So I didn't actually take them up on that offer. Yeah, I would have probably should have just taken the key anyway. I don't know why I was stupid and didn't. Oh well. You win some, you lose some.
You have guests.
Bobby's raising a glass to you from his yacht. I hope it fucking sinks. I'm really tempted to try that now. I don't know if I... I need to see how easy it is for me to blast through a tier 3 delve. And how much experience you get from delves. Because the reality is we're going to need some way to level all of these flipping 70s to 80 at some point. If I can multi-box delves using my main hunter to boost. The reality is like I don't necessarily need to keep those accounts active after I've done it either. If you're going to do it during the anniversary, 20 to 45% extra experience. Yeah, that's Factorio season though. I kind of have 2 weeks without really anything planned. So, in a weird way, the time for me to do it is actually now. Even though technically it's better to do it later, but my schedule gets much busier from the end of this month onwards. And then heck, before we know it, it's December and it's nearly Christmas, which is also busy season. Maybe it's a good thing I didn't get hooked on D4. I might have just found a new thing to do. I don't even know if it works yet. This is still in theory stage.
I have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth and extinction of entire species.
When's the Blizzard event? November? I don't know. Good question.
What hope is there for you? None. You stare blindly into the abyss. Your ignorance is profound. Can you not see where this path leads? Hold out for long.
Bobbled a bit late then, didn't I? Sorry, Turtle. 79. One to go. How much is a basic copy of The War Within? Is it 50 quid? $49.99. What's Factorio about then? I'm not sure if I want to tell you or not, because I've told people about Factorio before, And I've then cost them the next 250 hours of their life. Factorio is you've crash landed on an alien planet and you have to first survive and then figure out a way to get off it. 250, that's cute. Oh, there's one of my victims. Yeah, the basics is you land on an alien planet, have to first survive the bugs that are on the planet, and then secondly figure out a way to get off it. And you do that by harvesting materials, producing many intermediate materials, automating the production of said materials, and you have the usual base builder style problems to contest with, such as power and defenses, and automating all of the above. And then eventually you can build a rocket to get yourself off the planet. And that's technically the point where you have finished the game. But many Factorio veterans will tell you that launching a rocket is just the start. And with an expansion, their 2.0 expansion launching in 2 weeks' time, they are definitively making it such as that launching the rocket is just the start. So harnessing the power of peak efficiency to the point of illness. That's a really good way to describe Factorio, yes. Absolutely. If you just want to test how easy it is, I can bring along 4 characters for you to try and clear a tier 3 if you want. Well, what I can do is I can just keep adding to the pile until it gets to the point where I can't do it anymore. All I know is that I'd need to buy 3 copies of The War Within to do it properly. I've only got $100 of Blizzard balance. That's 2 copies because I've just bought Diablo. A token's cheap still. What's the damage on a token these days? Oh, less than 300k. Bargain. Bargain. I've only got $100, 100 euros of WoW balance, but has 500. I wish I had 500 million gold. You can take a 0 off that. I'm here to request a 24-hour herbalism and mining stream. I would do a 24-hour herbalism and mining stream, but I would do it as a subathon, and then I would take a month off. That's the only way you get me doing it. Not a bad game. If you think about it, WoW's economy is the same as Factorio. You have to set things up to create things and those things create things to upgrade other things. It's actually, the similarities are actually incredibly strong. 1 sub, 1 minute of herbing. Yep. You're a streamer, just get 4 people to follow you for science. We could also just do that, yeah. How many gifted for a 24-hour gathering stream with loot appraiser? What, loot appraiser set to historical price? For that extra juice. Alright, 1 thing at a time. Let's get this dude to 80 and then we'll figure out what the hell we're doing. 1 thing at a time. Let's not get too distracted by the squirrels. Not halfway through a Friday stream. Where do I want to put points now? Do I want to put more points into designated disenchanter? Epic escalations. This character we probably do, and the reason I probably want to point points in this on this character is because this dude is going to keep up to speed with enchanting throughout the entire expansion. So this is going to pay off on a weekly basis. Every week this is going to be worth something to me because it will improve my crystal generation. Max DB recent DB market DB historical times 2. Just for the thumbnail? Maybe. Maybe. Herb mining stream with 20 people behind you to make sure that the nodes disappear. I'd pay to see that. Sounds 100% like a Top Gear episode. You'll just become James May. Others can be Clarkson and Hammond. $1,579.8 hours according to Steam. Woo! It's a good effort, that is. I had Factorio for years before it was even on Steam. I probably had 2,000 hours in Factorio before it even landed on Steam, and I think I've got probably 2,500, nearly 3,000 hours in it since it's been on Steam as well. But even I think those are rookie numbers compared to how much some people have played Factorio. There are people out there that have played Factorio probably more than you lot have played WoW. Let's put it that way. Which is actually bonkers. Oh, dungeon. Perfect timing. Guild order? A recraft? You want... Hang on. Can I do this? No, I'm not specialised in doing this. Sorry, my man, I would do that, but... I have the recipe, I do not have the expertise. 20k, invite them to the guild right now. Oh, no, they are in the guild. That is a guild order. That's Crux. He's in the street. He's probably lurking in the stream right now. If you're able to do it, hop in. Oh, why am I not on a character that can invite people? Whoops. Oh, give me a minute. And there he is. $5,688 hours. There we go. There's another Factorio veteran in chat. This is why I'm going and playing another game for a month as a content creator outside of your normal game is often considered incredibly risky because, well, it's just considered incredibly risky. Factorio, I feel, is the only exception to that rule, though, because I am weirdly convinced that the crossover between WoW and Factorio, especially the kind of like mini community we have going on here, I think the crossover is pretty strong. Because you're right, Goblin-esque, you know, the WoW economy has a lot of crossovers with something like Factorio. Permanently trying to optimize something, always got something you can be doing. You can technically always be leveling up characters, or there's always something you can be doing to like improving your economic standing, and that's literally the foundation of Factorio. There is always something you can be doing to make the factory go faster. The factory must grow. Not super enthused for their choices to add quality. I don't mind them adding quality. I think it's going to add. I think it's going to add something to the game. It's going to be another one of those, though, isn't it? It's going to be another level of optimization you can do. But it depends whether you build for it or not. I suspect quality will be something that, for the most part, and probably an early game thing, you can basically ignore. And I think the best way to do it would be to ignore it. Much like you don't put quality 3 modules in everything straight away. You build up to quality 3 modules. I think quality will be basically the same. And it will give an extra, you know, it's an extra thing to slap onto the side of your factories, really. You know, you'll be able to recycle, disassemble. If you are slowly but surely trying to build everything to optimal, you can recycle, disassemble the lower qualities, pump them back, you know, get them, regenerate materials, pump them back through again. It's an extra layer. A layer that I hope they make it. I've not tested the new Factorio expansion. It's a layer that I hope they make it semi-optional. In terms of the fact that, you know, it will offer you an efficiency if you do it, but it won't be necessary to continue your progression. Much like modules. Is it a standalone expansion, or is experience needed in the previous version? Experience will always help, but it won't be essential. The base version is getting quite a few quality of life updates, but the expansion is what will allow you to progress further. There is part of me that is somewhat worried that the original Factorio feel might go away with this expansion. Because a lot of the expansion features are just being worked into the base game. And so the base game is going to feel completely different from the word go. But then again, if you've played Factorio for a decade at this point, you've seen it progress in many different variations. I think I started playing Factorio in 0.13, which is like a long time ago now. There's part of me that regrets not ever really doing content for Factorio, because it kind of fits my style of content quite nicely. You know, design a fancy build, put it in a blueprint, and then give it to people. You know, guide style, rather than episodic playthrough, which I think there's plenty of that for Factorio. Going more into the blueprints, guides, build, video styling is something I absolutely should have done. What's stopping you from doing it with the new expansion? Well, the reality is there isn't anything stopping me other than time in the day. Being a World of Warcraft content creator is very time consuming, from the concept of you playing the game a lot, then doing other things with it. And all I tend to do is add more things onto my list rather than take things off my list.
We shall set up our base camp in these chambers. My magi...
But I'm tempted all the same. Love the Spidertron. Spidertron is such a cool addition. It was such a cool addition to the game. Love me a bit of Spidertron. When you bundle a bunch of them together and they just become the ultimate builders or ultimate destroyers of everything in your path. Oh, it's wonderful. This is why launching a rocket is literally just the start. Oh, that's a fully fledged order on a recipe I don't have with all mats. That doesn't happen very often. Do I have the material? Do I have the means to go and get that? I do. I might go get that recipe just to fill that order. I keep seeing orders for this flipping Forager's font inspector thing. Although this isn't my main Jewel Crafter. No, what am I saying? No, this isn't my main Jewel Crafter. This dude's an enchanter first and foremost. So no, I don't care that much. I don't really care about any of this, to be honest. This is just concentration build. I got distracted by the fact there's only one box up here, but that's because my enchanter is fully caught up. Can I make that weak aura not hide the profession completely, even if I'm fully caught up? Kind of an odd request, but hide when done. Turn that off. Yeah, there we go. I always want to see the profession, even if I've done everything. What was that? Gather 100,000 herbs. Yo, farmers in the guild be doing farming things. Go on, boys. Really puts in perspective what people think a lot of gold is when they're super happy to be selling the vicious bloodstones from their PvP farming, which comes out at like 9k gold per hour. I'm in a delve, I don't gather. Yeah, that's probably all Bran, isn't it? That's probably just all Bran. Well, those PvPers who are getting those vicious bloodstones, you know, they just consider it free gold because they're doing the PvP anyway. They're not farming the PvP to get the vicious bloodstones. They're just doing PvP because it's the thing they like to do, and they just happen to get vicious bloodstones, and they just happen to sell for a reasonable amount. Right, I've got 20 seconds before this dungeon queue pops. Let me grab a drink real quick. For some reason, it's really quite warm in here. Oh, it's 24 degrees in the studio. Holy shit. It's definitely not 24 degrees outside. Did the dungeon not pop? 3 minutes. It's late.
Is that your wallet?
It's late.
Or are you just glad to see me? Both of
Yo, Bear, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you very much for the 9 months. Twitch, baby. Where's that herb achievement? Oh, it was a guild achievement. Bushes and bushels. 100,000 guild achievement. Yeah, I tell you what, if our guild doesn't get all of these profession-related achievements at some point, we're just absolute slackers. The reality is wow, I've never looked at these, to be honest. I've genuinely never looked at these. Some of these are so old, we're never getting them. Cook 5,000 Cataclysm cooking recipes. Yeah, I don't think anybody's doing that anytime soon, are they? Mine 100,000 ore and rocks. Oh, well, there's clearly a bias towards herbs then. Clearly a bias towards herbs. Craft 500 epic items from Pandaria. God, these are so old. Fulfill 50,000 crafting orders. Yo, guild, go on. Considering we started the guild at the beginning of the War Within, we've done 21... as a guild, we have done nearly 22,000 crafting orders between us. Sheesh! But only 655 guild orders. Whoops. The guild is called No Refunds, by the way. We need to get that achievement so then I can shout about it, like, in the guild finder. Join our crafting guild. We have done over 10,000 guild orders, or, you know. Yeah, the guild system could definitely do with a bit of an update, a bit of love. The fact that half of the stuff in there is still from Pandaria is a bit embarrassing, Blizzard. Come on. Let's get some updates in there, please. It's been probably a decade since it was last updated. So many guilds have taken everything completely out of the game though now. It's all done via a Discord nowadays. Any guild that's serious about doing anything, it's entirely done via a Discord now. I'm not sure if there's any... is there any sort of like anybody that's in an actual guild that matters? Does anybody know if there's like some smart Discord integration? There must be, surely, so that players can integrate their Battle.net account to their Discord and then have their characters like tagged properly in Discord or whatever. There's got to be something like that. There's no way there isn't. I just don't know what it is. There were bots for that 100%. Oh, I'm sure there are. I just don't know what they are.
Your blood is mine.
Considering the in-game guild management stuff is pretty slack. There could definitely be more. Senti, how we doing? Welcome in. Good morning, good morning. Good afternoon, maybe, by this point. It's good afternoon for me, technically. Just write you a Discord bot for a fee. I need people in the community that are good at that shit. I have no problems paying for things. In fact, I won't accept freebies most of the time. Not sure about BNet integration, but there's lots of stuff that can help with guild management raids and such in Discord. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I did some digging, I'd find something. I mean, heck, all of the boosting communities must use it, right? Surely. And there's not just gold floating about those communities either. Let's not forget. RMT up the fucking wazoo in those places, I'm sure. And so where there's real money concerned, I'm sure they've got people on the books. No longer an unemployed bum living off my wife. My pension was finalised on Tuesday and my arrears paid into our bank account this morning. Ah! Congratulations then. Time to take that wife of yours out for dinner, I think. Time for you to take that wife of yours out for dinner. To add. I ain't taking your wife out for dinner. I've got my own wife. That's far too much like, it's expensive enough looking after one. Don't know how Mormons do it.
Not over yet. Scum, you incompetent slug. Return and make yourself useful.
Speaking of, Discord has been banned this week in Russia and Turkey. Really? Jesus. WoW and Discord chat integration bot. Oh, that seems interesting. I have made some channels in the Discord for the guild, but I do such a poor effort of cross-promotion. It's realistically mostly just there for people to shout, "Oi, give me an invite," or "Is anybody able to craft this for me?" I mean, that is pretty much the fundamental of the guild anyway, but... Took her out Tuesday. 36th anniversary. Nice one, my dude. Congratulations. Paid for it with a football bet that came in. That's how we do. Don't go spending that hard-earned money. Just cash in the Gamba money. Gamble responsibly. Right, is this gonna ding us 80? It's not, is it? It's gonna cuck us about half a centimeter before the end of this bar. I know it. Yo, these warlocks, man. Calm down with your pets. Holy shit. That dude died before he did his intermission. He died twice.
Your pathetic failure will serve as a warning to all. You are damned.
You said you need those kind of people to make stuff. What sort of stuff did you have in mind? Oh, not anything particular. It's just it's useful to know people who can do things like that. So as and when something does come up, you know who to turn to. And I would obviously in these scenarios much prefer to turn to somebody within the community than some random Joe on Fiverr or something, you know. For example, one thing I've been very interested in is a clip to Discord integration somehow, so that any clips that get taken of the stream then get posted in a specific Discord channel. I know that kind of stuff is quite simple, but then I'd want some sort of okay, let me be very clear. If you've ever watched Pirate Software, he is somewhat of an idol in my eyes. Thor has a fantastic brain for this sort of stuff, and he has done some very clever things with his Discord and with his stream that are probably not overly common these days. Maybe not particularly common yet, and probably require custom coding to make happen. But I believe in the hands of somebody that knows what the hell they're doing is probably not too difficult to achieve. I mean, his stream's obviously massive, and so he uses TTS. People use TTS. He has then a TTS queue, and then every time he presses his TTS button, it plays the TTS. It then clips what was asked and also clips his answer, and then posts that clip in his Discord. So even if the people... This is because his stream is monstrous, right? But he does this so that anybody that wants to ask a very specific question doesn't necessarily have to stick around and wait for him to answer it, that his answer will get clipped and shared so that that person can then, you know, get their answer, if that makes sense. This is sort of the smart thinking that is needed to do well on this platform. And sometimes there is no there's no harm in stealing a good idea. There's sometimes no harm in stealing a good idea. He has some charity thing, the TTS debt or something along those lines. Well, yeah, I mean, he's obviously got the luxury of he's a 10k Andy nowadays. But so what he does is any donations that come through via TTS that he doesn't get to during the stream, all of the money that's generated from that goes to charity. He doesn't keep it. Step 1, create a ferret rescue. Well, yeah, true. Yeah. Step 1, have a fucking awesome name. Step 2, work for Blizzard. Step 3, be hyper cool. Step 4, create a ferret rescue. And step 5, have a massive fucking brain. That's
I have many, many wares.
That's the way to do things.
Farewell, friend of the Grummles.
But I generally think that the type of content that I produce lends itself very nicely to that. Look how many times to my regulars who are lurking here quite commonly, how many times do we get very, very similar questions asked? if those very, very similar questions could come through, get clipped, get posted to Discord, could then be easily accessible by people. Better still, I could go the extra mile and then turn them into YouTube Shorts or TikToks or, you know, something. I think that lends itself very naturally to my kind of content. But this is all sort of like initial thoughts. I have a bot that will post my social media posts to the server. Yeah, there's a few things that can do that. I need to put a little bit more thought into exactly how I'd want it to work. But as I mentioned, having people that, you know, understand the direction I'm coming from and have the tech savvy nature to implement these sorts of things are useful people to know. My profane tinderbox investment from yesterday is finally above water. Oh yeah, you said you bought a bunch of tinderboxes yesterday. I was I mean, obviously buy the dip, sure, I get that, but it depends how dippy the dip was.
Calibrated my prices to be reasonable.
What's the situation on tinderboxes today? 400 gold apiece. Well, I mean, yeah, if you were getting them for 300 gold apiece yesterday, then you're already winning today, aren't you? Look at the quantity. 38,000 tinderboxes out of nowhere. What's the graph looking like on tinderboxes now? Sheesh! Look at that graph. Look at that graph. Oh my days. Business as usual, business as usual, business as usual. Put them on a vendor. Holy. It's Jacothists all over again. Oh my god. I'm so glad I wasn't holding on to a bunch of them. Oh my god. I also bought a bunch on behalf of your advice. I'd still think that once this chaos calms down a little bit, there is still, this is the thing you have to remember about tinderboxes, there is still a steady demand for them. It's not that demand has fallen off completely. It's just the fact that they made acquiring them significantly easier again. I suspect that what you will find now is this initial panic, sell, convert, whatever. This will probably last a week or so, but because there's still a steady demand for tinderboxes every single day, that's a good way to describe it. That glut of items that can very quickly be turned into tinderboxes will get churned through. The question is just how long will it take to churn through all of that new supply of tinderboxes? Considering we saw the quantity available, for the most part, never really, it got above 10k, 13k, peaked at 17k. The most tinderboxes we had basically ever seen in one go was 17,000 of them. Yet they were still consistently selling, and there was still consistent demand for them. This big jump to, what was the peak of the peak here? The peakiest peak was 60k. So that alone is probably a week's worth of tinderboxes. But they will go somewhere. They will get consumed. They will get used. The question is just whether them being at 400 gold apiece now, will they go to 500 gold? Will they go to 600 gold? Will they go to 1,000 gold? Or will the demand taper off, and will that extra glut of items never actually get fully consumed, and so hence the price will never go anywhere? But I do think that there's still steady enough demand for them, and considering what they're used for, sanctified alloys aren't going anywhere. Sanctified alloys aren't going anywhere. Weapon enchants, they're not going anywhere. These are items that I think are going to be in steady... Tinderboxes will be in steady demand the entire expansion. So there's plenty of time for it to self-right itself and fix itself. This is not sound financial advice, though. I'm not telling people to go out and buy a shitload of them now, because the price could just as easily go even further down than what it is right here. Because let's not forget just how many Viridian Spore Caps were on the auction house at like 3 gold apiece. That basically makes your tinderbox 9 gold, by the way. So there's still a lot of room for the price to go down. What the hell is going on in this group? Oh my days. There's still plenty of room for the price to go down, but as long as the demand is always there, it's got a chance at least to right itself. The price did definitely go somewhere, that is true. Oh, now I'm dead. Check Discord, I've got a good idea for you. I'll check my... I'll ding 80, then I'll check Discord. So give me a minute. I clearly need to focus here, otherwise I die. I think it'll be steady at about 600-ish gold.
Don't just stand around, lads. Kill
Well,
somebody.
I'm not so convinced. The way I look at it is that what was the average price of the other 4 materials before the tinderbox craze happened, right? The average price, I'd say, of those other 4 materials was probably what, 40 gold. Some were floating around 50 to 100 gold a piece. Some of them were 3 gold a piece. I guess the average before you could convert them into tinderboxes was, let's just say 50 gold. That realistically makes me think that tinderbox, like the supply of those, they were abnormally cheap because they couldn't be used for anything. Now they can be used for something. Their value will inherently go up. But let's say their value doubles. I think tinderboxes will probably sit at 300 gold for most of the expansion. Because the value of the other 4 materials is taken a rise, because whereas they used to be used in very little and so were worth very little, they can now, even if they're not used in crafting, be converted into tinderboxes, which we know have a steady, reliable demand on them. But a tinderbox will only ever be worth 3 times whatever the cheapest other material is worth. So, based upon the fact that those materials predominantly come from delves, I say predominantly because you can get them from treasures as well, let's not forget. Predominantly come from delves, which is also another system that's not going anywhere anytime soon. 200 gold a piece for those materials as average, making a tinderbox 600 gold if they were 200 gold a piece. They're probably not going to stay at 200 gold, are they? If they were 50 gold as average previously, maybe they doubled to 100 gold a piece. Yeah, I would go as far as to say, quote me on this in 9 months' time. In 9 months' time, I'd expect to see tinderboxes about 300 gold a piece.
Now to finish the job.
Is my guesstimation. The demand for them is always going to be there. The supply of them is now 5 times what it was, because all of the other components can be converted into tinderboxes when needed. Alternative tinderbox materials were about 50 gold a piece average. They could potentially double to 100, making tinderboxes 300. Yeah, I'm happy with that conclusion, I think. It's probably the long-standing market price of those. Because every season is also going to bring a big burst of demand on them again. Tinderboxes are going to be one of those things, I suspect, that people will be the speculation mill, the rumor mill will churn every patch on these things, because just like it did with crystals back in Dragonflight, look at how spiky the crystal price was. Everybody speculated on crystals every patch, and in most cases it was a pretty reliable thing to buy up a bunch of, because they pretty reliably spiked in price when everybody all of a sudden wanted to enchant their gear again. And tinderboxes, that's what tinderboxes are this expansion. Who pulled what? Kill it with fire. I don't know why we're skipping all of this. We're going to pull it when we drop down from here otherwise anyway. Worst thing, as soon as the price of tinderboxes dropped, the leatherworking patches matched the tinderbox prices. Then in 10 minutes, somebody lowered the average price by yet another 700 gold. I don't get it. People cashing out. Like, people are cutting. It's what's referred to as cutting losses. You, if you want out, you get out and you do it quickly. Because any gold you make on something is damage limitation than just letting it rot in your bags. A lot of people see things like that happen and they just cash out. They don't care what they get for it. They just want out of that market, and they want out of that market fast. The correlation between what it costs to craft something and what something sells for these days is very, very, very weak. Very, very weak. Sure. Is time walking fast for level? No, not particularly. Not particularly. In fact, not in the slightest. It's just I have a few of these characters at about the mid-level 70s that I would just kind of like to get them to 80 so that they're done. And queuing for dungeons in between doing some odd profession stuff just kind of works. Plus it's Friday and my brain doesn't facilitate doing anything particularly serious on a Friday. You might want to add a channel redeem for ask a question to help filter and then act as your trigger. Oh, that's very clever. That's very clever. Now we're cooking. Obviously, the big boys out there can use like dono style TTS to facilitate that, but when you got 10k viewers, you can get away with that sort of stuff. A channel point redeem to ask a question is probably a very smart move to generate some clips, to generate some questions. Good fodder for some social media-y stuff. I want to really get back on the mill of actually being a proper content creator. This is an opinion that probably wouldn't go down well with many streamers, but I don't consider streaming content creation. I consider it entertainment. I don't consider it content creation. If you just sit and play a video game all day and you just stream, I don't really think that's you know, being a content creator. Entertainment definitely has value, sure, and it's a legitimate thing to do. And if you can generate enough revenue from just streaming, then all good job. Actually good job. But under normal circumstances, I think content creators should be putting in more effort to provide value elsewhere, especially if you're looking to grow. You don't grow on Twitch. It's not possible to grow on Twitch. And so I want to get back into the swing of things a little bit more. An expansion launch, it's fine to sit here and play the game a lot. A lot of people put me in podcast mode. I'm playing the game a lot, and so it makes sense to stream a lot. But I quite now that we're a month or so into the expansion now, feel I should start getting back more into the regular routine of things. Clipped. Where's pet? Oh my god, my pet's ran all the way back round. Oh, I forgot when you jump down there, the pet doesn't like it. Dismiss. No, 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 no. Did I click release then? Why the fuck did they put the release button right next to the dismiss button, by the way? I've always thought that is, like, absolutely ridiculous option. That's like having withdraw $10 or donate all your money to charity. Like, as 2 buttons right next to each other. No! I've almost fat-fingered the release button multiple times before.
Preserve? Why? There's no truth in it. No, no, no. Only in the taking. I see that now.
I put the dismiss button on my bars. That's actually probably the clever way to do it, yeah.
Finish it! Kill me or I swear by the Dragon Queen you'll never see Dragon Queen.
Boom.
Life binder. Preserve me.
Hey, what? Oh, yeah, this is a level 80 quest, okay. Nice, right, level 80. Right, there's another tune to 80. Nice. Nice! All depends on what you do whilst you stream. Agreed. Agreed. Like, this is not me claiming that being a streamer is not a valid, you know, profession. Like I said, there is significant value in entertainment. But if you then go on to call yourself a content creator by just sitting playing a video game all day, that's not really content creating, is it? That said, the terminology content creator is very loose in the first place. Right. Let me take a quick break for 2 minutes. Quick bathroom break. I've got a billion Discord pings I need to quickly look at. And I'm tempted to have a little bit of a look to see if some multi-box delve leveling is a viable option. Give me 2 minutes, boys and girls, and then we'll do some testing. Alrighty. What are we doing? Where are we getting to? This dude's level 80. Nice. Let's test a little summon. We're going to need our main dude. We're going to need account number 2. I've been leveling my alts with the daily pet battle world quests. Completely skipping the warband bonus. I feel like a moron. Yeah, you want to get 5 to level 80 as fast as possible, even if it means leveling them individually. Once you've got your first 5, you get the flat 25% boost, which is very useful. Very useful indeed. Where are all my alts gone on this? Why does it keep putting all my alts to the bottom of the list? Why is it hiding all of my time-walking characters at the bottom? Stop doing that. Luckily there's not too many of them, but I don't know why it keeps pushing them all to the bottom. Okay. Let's grab Money Blaster as well. Game's saying you have too many characters. Well, probably. Never enough. Never enough. How we doing, Stro? Welcome in. Welcome. Oh dear. Oh dear, this dude's not even remotely in the right place. Add-ons, all the things, auctionator, can I mog it, craft sim, details, all of the details, sub-modules, because why not? LVUI, you can fuck off. I hate LVUI, I need to uninstall it. Bit of handy notes. That mini-map button jobby. Bit of platter, bit of postal, bit of no mats, no make. Bit of rare scanner, why not? Bit of Zygor action. Why when turning on Zygor did it turn on World Quest Tracker? Well, I guess we need it anyway. So you're playing some D4. How's the adventure going there? It's not grabbed me. If I'm honest. That's not to say I won't continue leveling it, maybe a little bit, but it's I'm not dedicating much time to it. For no real reason, other than it's just not grabbed me. If I got the bug, I'd probably quite happily play it, but it didn't give me the bug. Okay, sure. I might give it a little bit more time over the weekend just to see what's what with it. The reality is I've not leveled, I've not got anywhere with the game yet. It's just the monstrous amount of stuff ahead of me. I know that when I play Diablo, it will absorb a week of my time. Not that I mind that happening. I just want to, I like to wait until I've really got the bug to do it before I actually do it. What? Why does reload not work? Oh, now it does. I'm doing the campaign now, and to be honest, it's boring. I enjoyed the last 2 seasons more, where you just level into blasting. Yeah, I think I probably agree with you. I don't play Diablo for story. Which kind of means that I might do the same. I might just blast myself to max level and then just pump and see if I get the bug then. I'm not sure. The way it was, and I assume it still will be after the campaign, it's good to either no-life it for a couple of weeks or just hop in a few hours here or there throughout the season. Yeah, this is what I might do with it. Now I've got the expansion, I can dip into it as and when I need. I might do just that. Oh, hang on, I've got no keybinds or nothing set up on this dude either. This wasn't what I intended to do. Oh, I bought this stupid hand thing off the trading post as well, by the way. It adds to the mount total. Let's put that button down there. Wait, what? What's a 2-person mount? What's a 2-person mount? Sandstone Drake? Do I have a stream deck? I do indeed. You find me a streamer that doesn't have one. Earthcrawler's bountiful right now. Let me try one that's not tagged as bountiful. Right. When I try and enter, it asks if I want to enter a tier 8. But I would have assumed that this dude can't do a tier 8. Even the highest it can do is a tier 3. So I guess I need to set this to tier 3. And in we go. Now it seems to have ignored the fact that I was in a group. How? Wait, what? Can level 80 characters not enter? Haha, okay. Right. Every toon has to enter individually. Dells were a bit weird. Oh, I see, okay. Now the question is can I then get 4 slaves following my main and then still complete the delve? In fact, more importantly, what if I just what if this dude just lurks here do I even need to be remotely close to gain experience? And the question then becomes, is the experience any good? Stream decks were on sale for Prime Day. Only saw the white ones. Yeah, I've just got the regular old school, what is it, like 20, no, it's not even 20 button, is it? It's 15 button? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 15 button one. I kind of need a second one. I'm tempted to get a second one. I know I've been saying this for ages, but I want to get my second PC to act as my streaming PC, and then I'll connect everything to the streaming PC, and then just game on the gaming PC. But I would probably then want a second stream deck, one to control the funky actions on the stream PC, and then one to do quick action stuff on the main. I don't keep them close, I just move them along every few minutes. That way they don't get targeted by fireballs and boss mechanics, but still get the XP. Can they not lurk at the beginning of the places then? Most of the delve experience seems to come from the quest. You might want to rotate through them for max gains. Okay. Oh, I'm not doing this for Bran XP. I'm literally just doing this to see if these level 70 alts can gain some experience and some levels. If it's a alternative way to like boost. The theory is if I load up 4 other accounts, can I boost 4 accounts from 70 to 80 via delves? Will my main then be strong enough to solo the tier 3 dungeons, tier 3 delves, when I've got 5 or 4 followers? Some are laid out so that you're in range to get the XP, but I know for personal XP there is a range. It's fairly long, like 150-ish yards. Has anybody got a couple more characters or wants to join in a couple more so we can test this? Anybody want to fly down to Fungal Folly with a level 70 and just sit at the beginning, basically, so I don't have to spin up new accounts just to test? Can I turn this into a pre-made group? Oh, what? 2 members, 1 healer? Oh, presumably because Bran's there as well. You're level 70, 70 Windwalker, nice. I just want to see how strong the tier 3 delves are for my main once the party is full, if possible. Then I know whether I'll be able to like spin up 2, 3 or 4 accounts to level 70s to 80 myself. It might not, there might not be anywhere near enough experience to make this even worthwhile, but usually, even if it's not super optimal, it would, even if not super optimal, to get 4 characters leveled up in one go, it'd have to be terribly bad. We're in Fungal Folly, by the way, as well. Okay. I spot a goblin in the background. If there's a party of 5, does it kick Bran out? Is it possible for me to maybe do this on 3 accounts to keep Bran about? Am I going to need Bran for his DPS and his healing? Does Bran disappear if you have a full party of 5? I assume Bran probably disappears, right? He drops from the frames, but he still hangs around and does stuff. Oh, okay. He's just not on the party frames anymore. Okay, well, that's fine. One more? We got one more, so preferably a level 70, or at least not a level 80. We do have a 77 shaman. Oh, Woo's on your, you're on your way. Okay. Yeah, this is... If a level 80 can solo a tier 3 delve in a party of 5, there's a strong possibility that multi-boxing delves with 4 accounts in the background could be a nice way to get all those 70 remix characters to 80. Potentially. In theory. I love the fact that everybody's a goblin. Just a bunch of goblins knocking about. Master race. Apart from this stupid fox here. Okay, Bran's been kicked off the frames. We got a Woo totem. Is everybody here? Everybody's here. Okay. Let me now see if when I start this, I get absolutely nuked. Let's have a little looky, shall we? 16 mil. Basic mobs are up to 16 mil. That's not terrible. It's whether the damage and the healing that they output is also ramped. Yeah, if you guys can just kind of basically wait at the beginning, I don't need you to help with the DPS or anything. The concept is that I need to figure out if I can solo a tier 3 in a 5-man group, or at least get some experience. Oh, yeah, this is an annoying one for pets, I've just remembered. If they're in combat when you jump down, they don't follow you. Wait, hang on. Hang on, there's somebody else here. I've just realised. Okay, interesting. Well, from what I can gather so far, is it's not tragically difficult to kill the mobs, it's just time consuming. Now that might change when we get to a boss. But my ass doesn't seem to have too many problems killing mobs in a tier 3. I don't appear to be getting any XP. Oh, okay. Well, that could change things. Is it such that... Maybe try coming a little bit closer? Oh, are we in a raid group somehow? Hang on. No. Manson, I'm not sure how or where you are, but yeah, if you could leave. Manson's left the raid group. I'm not sure how it was here in the first place. I was outside. Oh, okay. Hang on. Which flipping button is it? Yeah, we're not classed as a raid.
You got to dodge!
Okay, well at least one thing I do know is that actually killing the mobs in the place is not that problematic. The question now becomes is... Oh, you're getting XP now? Okay. So I'm gonna you need to keep the dudes relatively close, apparently, by the looks of things. $17,896. I'm not convinced that it's gonna be that valuable to do this with 4 slaves. Drop down to 4, see if the scaling's better. Considering my main's ranged anyway. You might end up spending a lot of time not getting your ults killed. Yeah, this is something I kind of think might be a case as well. It also has just said that Wu Totem has left the raid group. Now I didn't make this a raid. This is very weird. I didn't tag it as a raid. I wonder if because everybody has to like enter their own instance as such that it just acts differently. Well, I'm getting experience. The question is whether it's valuable enough experience. At this rate, it's definitely not. But I wonder if it's the delve completion that's going to be where the money's at, you know? Mob killing. This isn't particularly fast mob killing. It's going to be... It's going to be the end of... It's the completion bonus, isn't it? I'm not... This might be one of those things that works better later in the expansion. I think there's the possibility that we're still just too early expansion and too undergeared. Although that said, later on in the expansion they'll scale everything up, won't they? At least I do know that soloing the dungeon is still viable. I just don't know if it's going to be worth rolling up with 4 or 3 accounts in tow. Because actually the probable time to complete each delve is going to be gross as well. Interestingly, Bran was showing us getting experience though, mind, which is weird to me. Yeah, experience is being had. Slow and steady. Soloing 3s on a level 73 to 74 nets you 30k completion, first delve each day, and around 20k each following delves. Yeah. Okay, well, this is a small little test, and I think it's enough to determine that this works. It works. It clearly needs a bit of refinement. I'm still not sure, though. The only reason you'd... Like, people don't like multi-boxing. This is my point. People don't like multi-boxing, so if you are going to multi-box, you best off be multi-boxing in an instance, so that people can't, you know, can't mass report you just because they don't like what you're doing. I feel that this works, but I don't think it's super optimal way to level. I can't imagine that you're going to get anywhere near enough experience on a level 70 character fast enough. And don't understand the difference between multi-boxing and botting. Well, yeah, exactly. This is it. This is what you don't want to do, multi-boxing out in the open world, because you'll just get swatted. $30k for the first is for the entire account, not per character. Just do it relatively softcore. Have your second account alts follow you when you're doing 8s anyway. I think that's probably the play. If you can solo 8s and you can solo 8s relatively comfortably, and you're doing 8 8s a week anyway for the vault, then bringing a low B level. Well, you can't do 8s though, can you? The max you can do is 3s. So that doesn't even really work. Doing each delve for the quest though might get you from 78 to 80 though. That's true. Okay. I'm not going to put too much more time into this now. I think I've kind of proven... All I wanted to just prove is that I can actually solo the delves at tier 3 with a bunch of characters tailing, not doing anything, which is possible. So that's the first step to at least it works. Fundamentally it works. Okay. We'll refine this and figure this out a little bit. Alright, thank you boys and girls. I appreciate that little test. It was helpful to see that it does actually work. Might work once you have a more optimal way to do it. Yeah, exactly. It might be a case of just it's finding the right delve and that sort of stuff. And yeah, a little bit of practice with it is probably going to help. Nice. Good to know. Thank you, boys and girls. I'm a half out of here. Even if it's just doing it slow and steady with a sort of just to churn through some rested experience or something on those accounts, maybe. Possibilities. Definitely possibilities. Best thing about working from home, you can play WoW on your lunch. I play WoW on my lunch every day. Every day. You've been promoted to leader. D-list, Blizz. That wasn't the plan. You were meant to go back to Hearthstone location. Lol, rub it in. Hey, Bet. You're getting there. You're getting there. Right, while we're on this account, at the very least, you know what we can do? So we can check the auction house account. Actually, Lazy Cash has got something in the mailbox. This is my bank. This is my farming tune. Doesn't get much love, but has seen some play at least. Look at this, employee of the year waiting until lunch. There's probably quite a few professions out there where being able to play World of Warcraft whilst you're technically at work is viable. I suspect there's... Oh, these are just some expireds, not actually anything interesting. I suspect that, you know, like security positions, I guess. You know, if you're... I know if, you know, if you're just sat in an office, you know, doing like night security or something. A job that requires you to be sort of on call more than like proactively doing something. I work in IT, very plausible. Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely some very specific professions that would work in your favour to play WoW whilst you work. You're going to be playing the Factorio DLC? Yes, I absolutely will be. Sucks it releases 2 days before the new WoW patch. Well, there's 24 hours in a day. The factory can grow in 12 of them. We'll sleep at some point, but I don't know when. Heart surgeon. Easy to post a few auctions between jobs. I'm sorry, sir. I will stitch you up once I've finished this cancel scan. I really need to sell these flipping flasks, don't I? How much are these flasks going for these days? 437 gold. 10,000 of them on the auction house. I really should get rid of these. Nurse, cancel scan for me, please. Yeah, scalpel, scroll wheel, anesthesia. Right. What's on the cards? What's on the cards? Don't need to be doing much. In fact, I need to go check the delves, don't I? I did need to be on that tune. That was the exact tune I needed to be on. Got to go check the delves today, make sure we get our stories done. I was politely told by my assistant earlier exactly which ones they were, and I've waited too long and I've now forgotten. Nurse, pull the plug. Raid starting. Yeah, get off the table. I need the space for my mouse. Well, K-Chak's also a nurse, so it's clearly a profession that works well for some goblins. Right, Mycomancer Cavern. Where is that one? That's Hallowfall, isn't it? Let's go and have a looky look. Gives me a chance to fly down there. I need a pee break. Mycomancer Cavern. That's this one, isn't it? Is it? Oh, I got that right? It is, yeah. Let's go and have a look at that one first. Right, time to fly, time to pee. Back in 2. Ha! We were muted. We were muted. Whoops. Professional streamer. I must have fat fingered the button. The fact I do that nearly once a stream is ridiculous. It's because I don't have monitoring on. My brain goes into my brain blue screens if I have monitoring on. If I can hear my own voice in my headphones, like my voice just turns into a slur. It's like I'm having a stroke. So I don't have monitoring on, which means I don't notice it when I don't have the when I'm muted. Oh, I think you said Pheromone Fury was one that was up, didn't you? If that's the case, then we might have one delve to do today. Need a weak aura for this. Yeah, I'm not sure how you track it, though. I don't think there's, like, any API call or anything that you can make to find out what delve does what story for the day. But you are right, a little... If there's an actual rotation for it that's strict, somebody can just make a pre-programmed weak aura for it, but it's another one that once it's done sort of thing. In theory, I would imagine if you checked every delve every day for 4 days, you should technically get them all. Because I think there is a bit of a cycle to which ones they are. Runaway Evolution and Niffin Napping. Oh, that doesn't sound like either of the ones I need. Oh no, Runaway Evolution. Yes, there we go. We might get the Underkeep done today. There we go. As long as we get one of them done. One is progress. Yeah, the Factorio expansion, I know I've spoken about this a few times already today, but there's a good chance that in the week before, I will have one final playthrough of 1.0 Factorio. And then when the expansion launches, we will start a new game, 2.0, with all of the updates and all of the changes, and we will learn everything again. And I've literally been looking forward to it all year. I think this is this the one? Runaway Evolution. Yes, let's do it. Right, oh no, let's make sure we put it tier 8. Let's not shoot ourselves in the foot. In fact, for the stories, I've just realised for the stories, there's no requirement to do them on tier 8, is there? You could probably just fly around and do them on tier 1s and just blast them. Am I good for vault progress? Is there literally any reason for me to do this on tier 8? Delves. Oh, I've done my tier 8s for the week. Is there any 603 gear I need? I don't think I need a 603 anything. Oh no, I do. Back piece. Technically weapon. I'm not sure if you can get weapons from delves. Yeah, I need one item at 603, which is a cape. I'll do it on. I'll do it on tier 8 either way. I'm here now. Some mad lad just reset tempered potions over on EU. It's already back down to 95 gold. Resetting crafted goods. Rarely a smart move. Blizzard so fun detected. Zekvir doesn't count for Vault anymore, so no 616 on my Trash Hunter. Oh, those dudes stun apparently if they stand on you. Nice to know. Yeah, we spoke about that yesterday. It feels like a weird thing to hotfix. My only assumption is that they didn't want people doing exactly that. And in that regard, it is a fun detected. They're kind of like, well, the gear in Delves is not outrageously great to begin with. I mean, it works. It's better than World Quests. But I guess they didn't want anyone to have a free piece of 616. I don't know. Too effective at time-wise, well, clearly, but it felt to me like an odd change because when you consider when you consider the people who are probably going to kill Zekvir 8 times in a row, were probably people. Maybe this is because this maybe doesn't work entirely because this is an assumption, but it's probably people that are going to outgear delves anyway, or have at least outgeared delves and they're just doing it on ults. It's kind of like it's counter ult friendly. Blizzard deving again. They seem to they seem to be too quick to press the fun detected button. And this is why I tend to have the opinion that all of this, the constant, oh yeah, we want to do better at being alt-friendly and all of this, I tend to always believe it's PR. The people that make the decisions are still the people who are responsible for making money and keeping engagement high. And because there isn't really any harm in letting people do... You're still doing 8 delves. Just because you're choosing to do the single boss version of a delve, because you've practiced it and got good at it and know how to do it even with low item level, and it's arguably a skill dungeon as well, it seems like a weird choice to say, oh no, you've figured out how to do this effectively, no, you're not allowed to anymore. It doesn't make much sense. I have no reason to be in the delves other than the vault, so now I have this stupid chore to do 8 times a week. It was a weird change. Those that are, because it's, you know, this is the thing, right? My character's 606, right? So I'm still within the range of 616s for my vault being a worthwhile thing to chase after. But that's not going to last very long. That's not going to last very long. There were people out there that just wanted to do the delves quickly to fill the 3 rows on their, you know, they just wanted to fill this row. They wanted to just get this row filled, because 3 more options is still 3 more options, even if you're getting better options up here. This is still 3 additional options that, you know, it might proc a trinket or something. You might have 616 trinkets that are better than your 620 plus like other, you know, a better tier trinket at lower item level that you can upgrade or summon. Even if you're far surpassed the gearing of the content, I don't see why they needed to nerf people's ability to do it quickly once they've arguably superseded the content. If you're able to do Zekvir 8 times quickly, then yeah, I don't know, it just seems odd.
Hang in there.
But Blizzard do Blizzard things. Oh shit, I'm dead. Why are you still lurking about? You should have pissed off by now. I don't know what this delve is doing. Players complain delves were too good for gearing compared to Mythic Plus, but then they want their Zekvir quick shortcut for filling Vault. I'm not entirely sure they're the same people. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced those are actually the same people. I tend to think that the people that were going to go and do Zekvir 8 times quickly were alts, usually meaning that their main is already significantly more geared in the first place. Or it's main characters like myself, main characters who still have suboptimal gear. Zekvir was like the skill end goal thing. If you've mastered the skill of doing something, it feels weird for Blizzard to come in and go, oh yeah, you've now mastered how to do this encounter. Well, fuck you. Now it's not worth anything. I don't know. It was just odd. I can't quite put it into words, but it feels like it was a very unnecessary change. And not often do I entirely agree with the fun detective take, but I think it was exactly that. I don't think it was so much that people just wanted something for free. Because I don't think the thing that people were getting out of it was particularly great anyway. If there was a quick shortcut to get a bunch of mythic gear, you know, if there was a violently quick skip in a mythic dungeon at high tier, then yeah, sure, nerf that, because that's a little bit overpowered, because the reward at the end of it is also overpowered because of that. One piece of 616 gear a week is not game breaking in any way, shape or form. And just because players found an optimal way to do their 8 delves for the week, it's odd. How many of these things do we need to find? 8 of them? The reality is it doesn't really affect me all that much. You saw me try and kill Zekvit, or whatever his name is, the other day. It took me a few kills, even on this dude. Took me a few attempts. And even then I clutched it by a very lucky... I got hit by his slam and for some reason didn't die. Oh, what? Pet died? How the hell did that happen? Flipping spinny web things. Ow. See, if I don't focus, I still do stupid stuff even in a tier 8, never mind Zekvit. Ooh, don't get stamped on by him. Why is Pet not doing pet things? What's going on here? Here you go. Pulled way too much in one go, this is the problem. One thing in the game that actually teaches people to interrupt, dispel, walk out of fire, switch targets, and then they go and take away. Yes, Zekvir is clearly, because like I said, it's not a gear check, it's a skill check, and so that's a really good point. That it's actually a solid learning experience for players in the game. To use the toolbox that's available to you to overcome something, possibly to do it without relying on having just like overpowered gear.
Oh, I need to
And then they're
rest
like, oh yeah,
after
by the
a
way,
while.
you probably shouldn't do this more than once. What? Yeah, I probably hadn't even considered it from that perspective, but that's actually very true. But you're right, it is one of the only things in the game that proactively teaches you how to play your class better in a way that makes sense, rather than it being, you know, it actually is like, if you want to defeat this boss, you have to press all of your buttons, and you have to avoid the mechanics, and you have to dispel this, and you have to make sure you prioritize the ad. It's a good little training simulator, yeah. You need to be able to either interrupt or dispel every 30 seconds and do enough DPS to be able to get the egg down. Bran should already be about level 40. His heal will be enough even with low gear. Yeah, my Bran's like level 33 or something. and my gear's equally not great. And I fumbled my way through it in a few pulls. I'm rarely the best example of skill, though. My expertise lies in other areas of this game. Is there even a pheromone thing up here? I've lost the last two. Oh, hang on, there's one all the way down there. This is, though, one of the things that makes attaching player power to these game modes somewhat risky. Is that only then goes to promote the player habit of optimizing the shit out of it to get the reward in the easiest possible way. You know, they when they reintroduced the mage tower, other than there was a mount or something, wasn't there? I can't remember what the reward was for doing the mage tower when it came back. But the point stands here is that the reward wasn't so great. It was more of a, like, you know, it was maybe not bragging rights, but it was a rite of passage for players to try and do this hard solo content. Bit of Mog here or there. Yeah, nothing overly, nothing that was going to benefit you at endgame. Let's put it that way. That's often the right way to do things, like that. It's why I think that they've got the gearing about right with Delves. It's not going to please everybody, but it's good enough. It's good enough of a player power reward to incentivize people to do it without it being too powerful that it makes it feel mandatory for everybody, even if they've surpassed the natural desire to play the mode. But yes, those players who are probably killing Zekvir 8 times a week probably have already got a relatively high tier Bran as well, who was probably just pumping DPS for them so that they could do it on lower level ults, which kind of means that they must have already done a lot of delves to have got to that point anyway. You've put the effort in, and the reward for putting the effort in was that you could then get your 8 runs out of the way nice and quick and easy. But nope. Now what are we doing? Volatile pheromones. Throw a gaggle of pheromones at an area, stunning a crazed abomination that walks into it for the first time. Like that. Oh, cool. Okay. So we collect the pheromones, then we get to kill these big dudes. Okay, this one's quite cool. Bottom line is that they have to compare it to a player running a heroic raid. Being able to knock out the whole week in 20 minutes compared to clearing 6 bosses on heroic raid is kind of imbalanced. Discourages playing Mythic Plus and the raid even more than it already does. But the heroic raid is part of a progression. The theory is that you eventually progress onto Mythic raiding. Now I know a lot of guilds and players don't get that far because it's also linked to other social requirements of having 19 like-minded individuals to be able to achieve that with. But I still don't really agree too much with the distinction or with the comparison to Delves and Heroic Raid. You get one piece of 616 a week after doing 8 Delves, or even 8 Zekvir runs. Whereas a Heroic Raid, the Heroic Raid is how many bosses in this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is it only 8 bosses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 bosses. 8 bosses that's going to dish out 619 gear in the first place. Or, well, 616 to begin with. 610 at the very beginning. Hero gear at the very least. So you've got 8 chances. You've got 8 chances a week as opposed to 1 chance a week. So I don't really think that the comparison is really that strong to begin with. You can get 603 gear from completing every tier 8. 610 if you happen to have a map, which are rarest Rocking Horse do, so not anything you can rely on. So ultimately, Delves is 1 piece of 616 a week. It's 1 guaranteed piece a week at least. But you're comparing that against 8 opportunities of... It's 8 times as valuable to go and do the raid. So I don't really think it would discourage people from going and doing the raid. Maybe I'll go the other way so I don't have to annoy those fellas. Do these fellas have a specific path? I reckon they probably do, don't they? I'm not in the camp that thinks the Delves should hand out lower gear. It's just different content. Getting hero champion gear doesn't do any harm to anybody. Yeah, I don't know. I think if the content's fun, like when you really break it down to its core, I think I'd summarize it as this: if the content's fun, people will do it. If the content's fun, people will do it. If you are a game dev, I think the number one thing you care about is not the rewards, is if the content is fun, people will do it. People will do shit for free. People will happily do shit for free if it's fun. I think as players we get a little bit too engrossed in the rewards because it's the main thing most of us chase. Delves have their own unique appeal from a fun aspect. The raid has its own unique appeal. So does Mythic Plus. You know, these are activities that as long as they're fun, fundamentally, people will go and do them. The reward should be a bonus to going and doing it well. I think we hyperfixate on the reward structures a little bit too much in this game.
There's treasure
And so,
close by.
ooh, that dude's coming this way. So balancing the rewards, maybe they should be balancing the fun. I truly, to this day, still think that the reason that they nerfed Torghast so heavily was because they were concerned that it might actually end up being too fun. I know how ridiculous that sounds, but I genuinely think... Oh, there's no boss in this one. Oh, these were considered the bosses. Oh, okay. I genuinely think that they thought that Torghast was going to get too fun, and so they nuked it so that you didn't just sit and do Torghast runs all day. Because on the beta, Torghast, you could scale to like silly levels, and it was genuinely very fun. And I think there was definitely something to say for Torghast that they were like, okay, this is problematic. People might not go and play the rest of the game because they just want to sit in Torghast all day. What do you mean? The theatre event's popping off? Is it not fun? Yeah. The fun of running Zekvir was that you kind of found like You feel like you found a loophole. Breaking the game is its own level of fun. Yeah, that optimization is what does attract a lot of people. You're right. Everybody's doing the theatre every week. Players must love it, yeah. Oh, this isn't a bountiful one, is it? I don't need to be picking these up, really. These are just a few resonance crystals. Right. That is now... That's put us down to 2. 2 to go. I'm just going to have to be mindful to check these every day until we get these last 2. It shouldn't be long. I didn't get these yesterday, and I haven't got these today. So, in theory, tomorrow could be the day, right? We've got 1 to do in each of them. Or is Pheromone Fury... Well, I haven't checked this one, actually. Thinking about it. Or did I? Oh, God, I can't remember. I'm clearly hungry. Oh, it's Niffin Napping. Oh, that's not the one we need, is it? No, we got that one. Okay, we don't have to worry about that. Alright. I wish I had the chance to play Torghast PTR then. Early release of Torghast face tanking as melee was absolutely miserable. Well, one of the reasons why Torghast was really fun on the beta was that it scaled to 18 levels by default. But it wasn't until about level 6 or level 7 where you started to like stack your powers and start doing overpowered like crazy things with your build. And then so when they decided to cut it down from 18 to 6, you basically only had the third of the content that was the most boring content left, which to many people was completely mind-boggling. I get that they wanted to make each run shorter, but to cut out the 2/3 of it where you actually had the fun. Anybody that's ever played a roguelite knows that the first 5-10 minutes of each run is where you're sort of building your spec before you get powerful and blast shit. And it's the blasting shit occasionally when you get those synergies that just align really nicely and you just nuke everything. It's the last bit of that where the fun comes. Building it in the first place is just something you have to do to get to the fun bit. And the weird thing about Torghast is they were like, right, we're going to take all of the fun bit out and leave you just with the grindy bit. And then we're going to make it so you have to do it multiple times a week because it's directly linked to player power. Mental decision making. And in my opinion is what single-handedly killed the whole piece of content for many players. Of course, they then did put in the full 18 one and stuff, but by that point it was all too much too late. They'd already pissed people off. Some specs reached the fun phase, others not so much. Yeah, some classes were definitely more fun than others. I remember shamans doing silly things with chain lightning, and example, but it was the biggest problem was if people were allowed to spend more time in there, they would have got more overpowered. And most classes feel fun when you're overpowered. Doesn't really matter which button you're pressing. But if you're pressing a button and shit is just getting absolutely nuked, it's kind of fun, right? It's why so many people to this day play PvP so aggressively. There's something fun about being overgeared, overpowered, and going into a battleground and just donk, just straight nuking people. That's literally been the appeal of PvP since day one. Shitting on others from a great height. Massively fun. And they almost had that with Torghast in a PvP. In an environment where it didn't matter either. You weren't hurting anybody. You weren't hurting it. There was no reason for you to not be able to be super duper mega OP. Who is this? Hello, friend. Similar tastes. Right. Anyway, boys and girls, I'm going to leave it there for today, and in turn also for the week, because it is Friday. I don't actually have many plans this weekend, so if you spot a bonus stream, come say hi. What's this dude's problem? Anyway, yes, enjoy your weekend, boys and girls. We will be back on Monday. Twinning. We'll be back on Monday. The plan of action for next week, I have no idea, if I'm honest. Literally no idea. It'll probably be World of Warcraft in some way, shape or form. That is unless I get the Diablo bug over the weekend. Not sure I will. If I might do a little bit more testing with this Delve level 70 boosting thing. If it ends up being a thing, we might look at doing some more of it. But either way, thank you all for joining this week. Hope you've had fun. Come say hi on the Discord if you're not there already. Make sure you've pressed your buttons. I'm going to have a little boogie down with my Foxy Murloc friend here, apparently. Enjoy your weekend. Peace.